Enochian, the mysterious lost language of angels. Most people believe in a higher power or universal consciousness, and in spiritual beings like angels and demons with superhuman abilities. Some people attempt to contact and interact with such interdimensional entities on the other side. And so during the 16th century, people believed that if you could speak to angels, you could also interact with them. So the concept of an angelic language was quite common back then. The mysterious Enochian language was allegedly discovered by the occultists John Dee and Edward Kelley. John Dee lived from 1527 to 1609 and was an occultist, mathematician, astronomer, and astrologer living in Mortlake, West London. Extremely well educated and respected, he graduated from the elite St. John's College in Cambridge, renowned for his intelligence and wit. He was eventually accepted into the secure circles of the ruling elite as scientific advisor and trusted confidant to Queen Elizabeth I. He's even credited with coining the phrase British Empire. During the early part of his life, Dee had little interest in the supernatural, but science became boring, so he studied the occult and magic. Dee wanted to discover lost spiritual knowledge and recover the wisdom he believed was hidden in books of antiquity. Among these books was the then fabled Book of Enoch, which he thought contained a description of the magic system used by the patriarch Enoch in the Bible. In 1581, Dee began his long journey of magical research. In his journal, he wrote that God sent good angels to communicate directly with human beings, so he set himself to contact the angel. The only problem was that he was not psychic, nor could he see the other side. So John Dee met Edward Kelley, a little-known son of an apothecary, claiming himself to be a gifted medium and very passionate about the occult. So the two teamed up to contact angels. They claimed to almost immediately establish spiritual contact, and in their hundreds of sessions from 1582 to 1587, they allegedly communicated regularly with these angels. During these spiritual sessions, Dee was the orator and supplicant, directing prayers to God and the archangels, invoking them to manifest in a scrying stone or a black obsidian mirror. Kelley was the scryer who saw the visions projected on the obsidian mirror and transcribed them to Dee to write down. For several years, these two recorded supernatural visions, incantations, and even prophecies. In the year 1582, John Dee and Edward Kelley claimed they received communication from angels that gave them foundations of a language to communicate with the other side. This mysterious angelic language has its own alphabet, grammar, and syntax, which they recorded in their journals. They called it Enochian, coming from John Dee's assertion that the biblical patriarch Enoch was the last human to know the language. But Dee preferred to call it angelical, the celestial speech, the first language of God Christ, and particularly Adamical, because he claimed it was the language spoken by Adam in the Garden of Eden in naming all of God's creatures. According to Dee and Kelley, these angelic beings they communicated with told them that being able to speak the language would unlock the doors to unlimited knowledge, wisdom, and power. The language is believed to be helpful in executing the 19 Enochian calls, which are a series of incantations that supposedly could summon powerful celestial beings. The Enochian language is a 21-letter alphabet whose script is written from right to left and includes diacritical marks. The alphabet is used to practice Enochian magic on angelical or Enochian keys. There are two different versions of the Enochian alphabet, with one slightly different from the other. The first version is in Dee's manuscript, the first 5 books of the mysteries. And the second version, which is the more widely accepted version, is from Liber Loagaeth and is said to be based on Kelley's original drawing. The Liber Loagaeth contained the initial messages received by Kelley during his visions and contact with the angels. The book consists of 49 great letter tables or squares made of 49 by 49 letters and is said to be the first corpus of texts in the purported angelic language. However, Dee and Kelley said the angels never translated the texts into the book. The other set of Enochian texts was received through Kelley about a year later. This time the texts came with English translations and has therefore provided the basis for the Enochian vocabulary. The texts contain 48 poetic verses, which Dee called in his manuscripts claves angelicae or angelic keys. Each key is assigned a specific function within the magical system, and Dee was apparently planning to use them to open the 49 gates of wisdom or understanding, represented by the 49 magic squares in Liber Loagaeth. Although these texts contain most of the vocabulary of the Enochian language, dozens of other words are found hidden in Dee's journals, while thousands of undefined words are found in the Liber Loagaeth. Now, because of the loss of parts of John Dee's original manuscripts, various interpretations have arisen regarding the meaning, validity, and authenticity of the Enochian language. However, ever since its initial publication, the language has also been met with suspicions, skepticism, and even hostility. In the 16th and 17th centuries, centuries, Enochian was widely considered to be the language of the demons because the so-called angels supposedly denied the godship of Jesus, saying nobody should pray to Jesus, and they also discredited the existence of the Holy Ghost. Such claims really disturbed Christians, causing some people to conclude the so-called good angels Dee and Kelley contacted were actually demons, and so the Enochian language was instead the language of demons. People that followed the Christian faith were not the only ones questioning the Enochian language. Linguists and scholars also had two reasons for their skepticism. First was Edward Kelley's questionable character, because he was jailed previously for forgery. Maybe this angelic language was yet another forgery. Their second reason was that the so-called angels' false prophecies that never happened, including John Dee being tried for treason. This Enochian language has been extensively analyzed by modern linguists, enthusiasts, and skeptics alike. However, results are still not 100% conclusive, and conclusions drawn typically depend whether the analyst is a believer or a skeptic. Some magicians assert Enochian is the oldest language in the world, among the most powerful strains of magic, and a method to contact other dimensions. Skeptics, on the other hand, say Enochian syntax is very similar to English, John Dee and Edward Kelley's native language. For example, Lucificias translates to brightness, bearing a connection to Lucifer, whose name translates to lightbringer. Another example is Londo, the Enochian word for kingdom, which may have just been a representation of Dee's connection with his royal patron, the Queen of England. Computer analysis reportedly shows Enochian shares a grammatical relationship with English. Besides this, texts in Liber Loagaia have phonetic features not found in natural language. In fact, the Enochian language's phonetic features are more closely related with glossolalia, or speaking in tongues. So basically, it's gibberish. Although people still dispute Enochian's authenticity as an angelic language, it impacts religious and spiritual communities, with some believing Enochian can connect them with angels or demons. Modern occultists even created a functional magic system with the Enochian language, considering it extremely powerful and only for experienced occultists. Well, what do you guys think? Is this some gibberish language made up by some fraud and occultist? Or is it the real deal, enabling people to communicate with beings in other dimensions? Let us know what you think and enter your comments below. Thanks for watching.